we're going to talk about the qualifying exam results. Welcome again. Today, this lecture is just focused on what to do next after receiving your results. And then what we'll do, we're at this portion right now with understanding the next steps of the qualifying process for those of you who just took the qualifying exams. Now what? You have the results. What do you need to do? There are three final results, and I know all of you know this, but I just want to go review the three results that you can receive just in case, just because I think some of the terms are not straightforward. It could be confusing. Three decisions. The first one is pass. Pass is complete pass. There's no revision. You are able to move forward. There were slight minor revisions that you are qualified and ready to be a dissertation candidate. This is very rare. Usually pass is a rare category in most of the qualifying exam, especially if there is three categories like this. Some institutions just have straight pass and no pass. Some institutions have in the pass category, high pass, and then you may have pass with condition or pass. That's the next one that I'm going to talk about, which is pass with revision. In other words, you have passed, you don't have to go through the oral exam again. You're able to articulate pretty well where you are, but in terms of the whole package, they want you to, especially in the written package, for instance, they want you to kind of address some of their issues or concerns or their suggestions. And the last one is revision. What does revision mean? It's not pass, okay? Just in case, revision means not passing, okay? What do you need to do? Decision pass. It means that nothing is due at the end of window 1, which finishes in about 2 weeks. And basically what you need to do is just look at some of the comments that you have received on your paper and your summary table that went out. Most of you are going to fall into these latter two categories. The decision pass with revision is you have passed, you've done a good job, but they want you to kind of make some changes. In academia, sometimes pass with revision comes in two categories too: major revision and minor revision. In our case, it's all lumped together. Pass with revision. What does this mean? You don't have to go through the oral exam again. You have to address the comments that were given to you by the reviewers. This applies to pass with revision, and there's a deadline. In our case, you saw the deadline in your letter that you have received if you got pass with revision. I do understand that it's only a couple weeks away, and this semester and last semester is a new design. Like I said, all of you had one chance to do the qualifying exam. And the idea was that giving this 2 window, you'll have more chances. But from some of the feedback that I'm getting from all of you, maybe it is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. In terms of resubmit with revision by deadline, you must revise and resubmit approximately in 2 weeks. This is a plus because you will be able to get your feedback right away. Those of you who are in window 1, the semester is not over. I know someone asked about the worst case scenario. Let's say you submit it, the faculty mentor deems that you did not sufficiently address all the comments or revision suggestions, etc. That's the worst case scenario. That means that you'll just enter into window 2 at this moment for the spring 2023 semester and get, because you are allotted 4 hours with your faculty mentor. Like I said, you don't have to use it all 2 weeks now if it doesn't, if the time doesn't, doesn't match up with the faculty member. But in the worst case scenario, let's say you got revision with pass with revision again after you submit in 2 weeks when the revisions are due, you'll just resubmit by the deadline for window 1. And before doing that, you'll have faculty mentorship guidance for up to 4 hours. The 4 hours is however you want to use it until the end of the semester. Even if, let's say in 2 weeks, some of you are really great writers and you get pass. Basically, they liked what you did and they agree with all your logic and arguments for whether or not you accepted their comments or did not with a justification. You can still use your hours to meet with your faculty mentor to think about the next steps. And as I mentioned to you today, I'll share a document that I usually share with my dissertation candidates whom I'm chairing. And like I said, it's a document that is created by me and it's the procedure that I use by me. It could be very different for other faculty members. And you'll see at the end of today's lecture. What you need to do is review all reviewers' comments, whether or not you agree with them or not agree with them. You want to just make sure that you review all the comments, okay? You want to address all reviewers' comments and concerns or questions, meaning that it's one of those professional courtesies where I understand that maybe some of the comments are like, you forgot a period or the sentence needs to be restructured, etc. You want to just make sure that you go through it and say, I address this issue A, B, and C, and I'll show you how to do it. And it's used in peer-reviewed articles. I know some of you have already published in peer-reviewed articles in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. It may be a review, but this is going to make sure that you showed that even within the time constraint, you're able to systematically go through what they're asking you to do to, explain your case. You need to get certified or reviewed by your mentor. The faculty mentor is going to sign off on whether or not you have met all the requirements. What do you need to do? Thinking, okay, you received a letter from me, one summary document that you saw last week when we were reviewing each other. It shouldn't be new to you. And then your paper that is from 2 of the reviewers with comments and track changes. The revised prospectus with changes highlighted, no track changes. What you're going to do is go back to your original document and you're not going to turn on any of the track changes because remember, if you have track changes, it does like strike through, it does a whole bunch of things that distracts the reader or reviewer from seeing what you have done. I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like. You'll have a separate Word document that indicates each reviewer's comments, page number of where it was addressed, and details of what or how it was changed or addressed. You can choose to respectfully disagree with the approach and say on page 11 of my paper, I choose to still use this theory in my paper due to A, B, and C. Okay. Like I said, all of us are not experts in everything that we are working on. Please, if you feel strongly about certain areas of your paper and if you can back it up, please do. Here's a sample. I just wrote something and the reviewer one says, Citation needed. You'll have two separate documents, but because the screen is small, I just decide to just combine. You'll have paper from reviewer one and reviewer two. In our case, reviewer one says citation needed, right? That's an easy fix, and you may agree, ooh, I do need a citation. I'm going to be caught for, accidental plagiarism, because it's not something that everyone knows about this population, right? It's not a common knowledge. Reviewer two says elaborate more. Okay, that could mean a lot of things. Is it one sentence or three sentences, right? Pick what you think it is, meaning you're going to justify what you have done. The paper, what you're going to be doing is this. The paper that you're handing it in to the reviewer, for instance, you'll highlight where you made the change. Smith and Al, that's where I put the citation. And then for the elaboration paper, a portion of review two, I just highlighted where I added the second. When the reviewer is going back to your paper, you are directly directing them to where you made your changes. It makes it easier for them to not just look at your full paper and have an opinion of what needs to be done. You're going point by point like a lawyer to kind of like point one, put the citation in. I agree with you. Like, you don't have to say I agree with you. You put the citation in because it was a good advice. Elaboration, like I said, it could be one sentence or it could be, a paragraph where you felt, okay, that was a pretty good comment. Maybe it was unclear. I do need to put some more information in there. The second, that's your original paper that you're working on. You have two documents open. You have your paper that you're revising, and then you have the second Word document where you are directing the reviewer. And we do this for peer-reviewed articles. Most of the articles usually get rejected, or you get revision with major revisions or minor revisions. And basically what you do is reviewer one, citation needed, page one, citation was added. And then you can go either page by page, or sometimes what I do is go reviewer one, reviewer two, and then sometimes I have reviewer three. And it says elaborate more, added the sentence, and then you just copy and paste what you wrote. And there's no that you have not ignored. For instance, if you felt that one of the comment was did not apply to your paper, it shows that you didn't just neglect it, but you carefully thought about, yes, thank you so much for the comment, but here's my thought on it. This is what I'm going to just still add. And then you can, or this is what I'm going to still keep. On page one, kept this paragraph, and then you can highlight it. It shows that you thought about it, you're not discounting it, right? You are like, okay, that was a good argument, but my argument is better. And that's what you're doing. There's going to be two documents that you're handing in. Your original paper without any track changes, because it reads better. And then this Word document that is going to go by comment. It is tedious, but it will give you a chance to go back and make sure that you addressed everything. If there's any kind of concern, you could go back to your second document and then look at your logic for why you have kept your wording or your theory or your conceptual model or your methodology, or why you changed it to something else than the reviewers. The third decision is revision. It just means you did not pass. And this happens a lot. I think most of us only see success stories, and people do not pass all the time. Qualifying exams are difficult. I was talking to one of my colleagues who went back to school, and basically he has two written exams. One, like the prospectus, the other one is just any question that the reviewers will just throw at him. And then they'll have 2 oral exams where one is department oral exam and then a school oral exam to just show that you are ready for doctoral candidate. What I'm doing right now is kind of exploring some of the qualifying exams that exist all over our country just to get a feel for what's out there, right? A lot has changed. What do you do if you get this decision? You review the feedback, nothing is due, but if you did take the option of window 1, you still have 4 hours with your mentor and go over some of the feedback with your mentor. Your time is yours, and I highly recommend that you use it as a targeted meeting, meaning come up with specific questions, or if there's a passage you want them to read or whatever, you want to just make sure that you convey that message to your faculty mentor. Those of you who had the faculty mentors last semester, they're changed up just to make sure that you have all the benefits of all the reviewers to ensure that you're getting as much support with everyone else. Let me see. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop recording.